Hey guys, welcome to episode 15 of the weekly update, the series where I talk about the paddles that I hit throughout the week. Now, this week's episode is going to be a bit shorter because, as you can see, I'm currently out of town and traveling, but today we're actually going to cover the different bread and butter filth shapes. Alright, let's talk about the three shape releases for the filth. Starting off, there's the elongated option, which is the OG shape bread and butter originally came out with. Nothing has changed with this one, and it's the exact same, just with a different graphic. Basically, an elongated Gen 2 carbon fiber paddle that sits a bit towards the head heavy side. Again, nothing much to really say about this, since I'm sure most of you are familiar with it. Next, let's talk about the wide body option for the filth. Now, bread and butter already has a wide body option in the Fat Boy, and honestly, I found the wide body filth to be a bit similar to it. The shape is the exact same between the two, so I found the balance, maneuverability, and sweet spot to be almost identical. The only difference between the two is the surface, as the Fat Boy uses Kevlar while the filth is just carbon fiber. While the Fat Boy does have a slightly more dwell time, a bit more control, and a denser feel, it's not a huge difference. For example, if you look at the elongated filth versus the Shogun, that's a much more noticeable difference. The Shogun itself is a different mold, where it's got a lower balance, and it's more maneuverable in addition to having a different surface. That's not to say the wide body filth isn't a bad paddle. I think it's a great option for people that did want the filth in a shorter shape because they like the feel and the graphics, but dislike the elongated shape. I would say to just temper your expectations, as this release is like a new Sword and Shield J2K release, the same paddle, but with a slightly different surface. Lastly, let's talk about the hybrid shape, which I think will be the most popular of the three. Right now, Bread and Butter already has a hybrid paddle in the Invader that features different surface layers, so there's a different feel when you hit harder versus softer shots, as that determines when the bottom fiberglass layer gets activated. Now, I'm personally a big fan of this feel, but if this isn't something for you, then you may like the hybrid filth because it has a more consistent feel with its purely carbon fiber surface. It does use the same mold as the Invader, so qualities like balance and maneuverability will be similar, but the feel and the surface between the two is much more noticeable compared to the wide body Filth and the Fat Boy. You're going to get more overall power on the Invader compared to the Filth. I mentioned earlier how the original elongated Filth leaned towards the head-heavy side of the spectrum, and that's why I think the hybrid option will be popular. It brings the Filth in the more popular hybrid shape in a paddle that's a welcome addition to their lineup next to the Invader. Overall, though, not a crazy new release from Bread and Butter, but just some solid additions. And if you do want to pick one up, I've added my discount code here and a link to buy them in the video description below.